Her brushes were crude sticks tipped with coarse eruptions of stiff animal hair from the cattle stocks we kept for food and clothing. The paint box was itself the front compartment of a life support pack, long since dismantled and repurposed for its vital treasures. That Victorine could make any sort of mark on the wall was something of a miracle. In fact, her walls were alive with a desperate energy and purpose. "What do you think I ought to feel?" she asked, in answer to my query. A deep, resonant thud shook the ground. It shook everything. We looked up from the wall, up from the school, up to the ceiling of rock far above us. A second thud came again, and a rain of dirt and dust loosened itself from the ceiling. The ceiling's lights flickered and died. A third thud came, harder than before. Heavier stones and boulders began to detach. Screams sounded across the cavern. Victorine was calm, though. "They're here," she said, taking a step back from her work. "They're here and they want to break in." Her tone became quietly accusatory. "It means you failed, Miguel. It means you failed, and everything here is going to end." She dipped her brush into its little jar of cleaning solvent and stirred it methodically. The thudding became the low throb of the wake-up alarm. The stir of Victorine's brush was the high, cyclical tone of air circulation pumps purring to life. The sting of the debris against my eyes was the discomfort of forcing them wide after weeks of sleep. I was awake and inside the torpor box. For a moment, lying weightless, it was enough to know that I had survived the crossing, that the ship and its components had held together long enough to bring me to the interception point. Given the state of our equipment and defenses, that alone was something to thank. The torpor boxes were good enough to keep us in hibernation for a few weeks, but they were nowhere near as reliable as the long-duration reefer sleep caskets that we had once taken for granted. Every trip involving a period of torpor carried a risk of death or permanent disability. I had rolled the dice once and survived. I would be rolling it at least one more time before my return to Sun Hollow. I waited a minute, gathering my strength, and set about removing the box's monitors and catheters. When that slow, painful business was done, I took another few moments and examined myself with the detached, methodical eye of a physician. The box's blue light laid me out unsparingly. Blemishes, scars, poor muscle tone, white hairs. All old news. A few fresh pressure sores, some bruising, bleeding here and there. The usual numbness and tremor in my fingers. Nothing, though, that was going to kill me in the next few hours. The memories of the last few days before my departure were still fresh. The detection, the confirmation, the decision to interdict. My volunteering for the operation. The arguments against and for. The tears and the strained farewells that followed. Saying goodbye to Nicola and Victorine. The launch boost, blasting away from the false-bottomed crater over Sun Hollow's shuttle pen. The strain on my bones as the shuttle accelerated, gaining speed while it still had the cover of the circumstellar dust disk. 10 Gs, 4.7 hours. I had been unconscious for most of that, mercifully, and had only endured it because of a suite of aggressive life support measures, taking the load off my heart and lungs. My spine still ached from the twin abuses of compression under acceleration, and now the slow, painful unloading under weightlessness. Hard on a young man, murderous on a relic like me. Why had I volunteered for this? I had to dig deeper into my memories for that. Hitting them was like finding a loose tooth jangling against a nerve. An instant, savage hit of raw agony. Ah, yes, that was why. Political atonement. I was making amends for a mistake, a blemish on my office, after a badly managed coup against me failed. After a contentious trial and a botched execution. Rurik Tain, writhing on the floor, not quite dead. My fault, all of it. Nothing that was enough to unseat me from office. Nothing criminal, just a series of bad judgments, but enough to undermine the trust vested in me, the trust I had fought so hard to earn since the founding of Sun Hollow. I swallowed back any self-pity. Doing this had been my choice, not something forced on me.